There comes a day when she stops laughing at the messages of other men, when she scrolls through her phone, and that familiar name, your name, still stings in her chest. She remembers the way you looked at her, the calmness in your voice, the quiet confidence that made her feel safe, even when the world felt chaotic. But that was before she took your patience for weakness, before she mistook your loyalty for desperation, before she assumed that no matter what she did, you would always stay. And then one day, you didn't. Welcome back to Echoes of Stoicism. Today, we dive deep into female psychology, into the emotional stages that unfold inside a woman's mind when she starts missing the man she once took for granted. This is not a story about revenge. It's about transformation, hers and yours. Because the moment you stop chasing, everything changes. The beginning. How she stops seeing you. At first, she adored you. She was fascinated by your energy, your drive, your purpose, your focus. You were mysterious, and that mystery drew her closer. She looked at you like you were a challenge worth figuring out. But as time passed, you made the same mistake most men make. You gave her your entire heart before she had earned your trust. You opened every part of your world too quickly. You gave her consistency without boundaries. You made her your priority before she even decided if you were hers. Psychologists call this the availability trap. The more accessible you become, the less exciting your presence feels. What was once a treasure becomes a routine, and that's when her curiosity fades. She doesn't stop liking you, she just stops feeling you the same way. Because mystery dies where predictability begins. She starts assuming your effort is permanent. She starts believing your patience has no end. And slowly, she starts taking you for granted. The shift. When love turns into entitlement, it begins with small things. She cancels plans, and you forgive her. She ignores your message for hours, and you still reply instantly. She shows attitude, and you stay calm. At first, she feels powerful, like she has control. But deep inside, something subtle changes in her psychology. When a woman no longer has to earn your attention, she starts to devalue it. Not because she's cruel, but because of how human nature works. We value what's scarce. We crave what's uncertain. We desire what challenges us. And when you become predictable, she stops wondering about you and starts assuming you'll always be there. You see, women don't fall in love through logic. They fall through emotion. And emotion only grows in uncertainty, in the chase, in the contrast, in the silence between moments. So, when everything becomes easy, she stops feeling. The psychology of taking for granted. Let's go deeper into this psychology. In the female brain, attraction triggers the release of dopamine, the chemical of anticipation. When she's excited, uncertain, intrigued, dopamine spikes. But when the emotional pattern becomes repetitive and predictable, dopamine levels drop. That's when the relationship starts to feel different. It's not that she stopped loving him, it's that her emotional reward system has gone numb. This is where most men panic. They sense the distance and try to fix it. They text more, call more, give more, explain more, but the harder they try, the faster she pulls away, because now the dynamic has shifted. She's the prize and he's the chaser. What was once mutual respect becomes emotional imbalance, and the woman begins to test him, not out of cruelty, but subconsciously, to see if his confidence is real or just an act built around her validation. The breaking point, when he finally stops, and then something happens. He stops, not out of anger, but out of clarity. He wakes up one day and realizes he's been giving everything, but receiving nothing that truly feeds his soul. He looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize the man staring back, a man who used to be grounded, focused, and strong. Now lost in overthinking, drained by someone who doesn't see his worth. That's when he pulls back. No more chasing, no more explaining, no more waiting. And this silence, this quiet withdrawal, starts the beginning of her awakening. The female mind in absence. At first, she doesn't notice it. She assumes he's just upset, that he'll be back soon. He always comes back, but then days pass, Weeks, and he doesn't reach out. No message, no reaction, no validation. Her ego says, he's just trying to manipulate me. But her heart starts whispering, what if he's really done? Now her brain enters scarcity mode. The attention she took for granted suddenly becomes precious again. Psychologists call this the scarcity effect. When something we assumed was permanent becomes unavailable, the emotional value multiplies instantly. She starts overanalyzing everything. Did he ever really love me? Why did he stop trying? Is he seeing someone else? And that's when confusion turns into curiosity, and curiosity turns into missing him. The silence that reverses everything. Men don't realize how powerful silence can be, but silence, when born out of self-respect, not manipulation, has psychological gravity. Silence creates space, and space forces reflection. Now she starts to feel the emptiness where his energy used to be. She remembers how safe his voice felt, how peaceful his presence was, how he made chaos feel calm. Every memory now plays differently in her mind. She replays old conversations, reads his messages, listens to songs that remind her of him, not because she wants to, but because her emotions are trying to reconnect to what her ego pushed away. That's the paradox. We only start appreciating peace when we've tasted chaos. Regret, the slow poison. Regret doesn't strike suddenly. It's slow, quiet. It builds over time. It begins when she sees him again, online, happy, improving, unfazed. His silence now looks like confidence. His distance now looks like mystery. His absence now looks like peace. And for the first time, she feels replaceable. Psychologically, this triggers the comparison effect. She starts comparing him to the new men in her life, and none of them feel the same. They might be attractive, funny, or successful, but they don't have that energy. The energy of a man who once loved her purely, but no longer needs her validation to exist. Now, she starts romanticizing the past. Her mind filters out the pain and highlights the best moments. That's the power of nostalgia. It's memory edited by emotion, and every time she remembers him, the regret deepens. The stoic man's rebirth. But what about the man? What happens to him after the silence begins? Something beautiful. He starts to heal, not to get her back, but to get himself back. He starts working out again, starts focusing on his craft, his goals, his inner world. He rediscovers his peace. He realizes his worth was never defined by how much he was loved, but by how much he loved himself when no one else did. That's when he evolves into something rare, a stoic man. A man who doesn't react to chaos, who doesn't chase approval, who doesn't need validation to feel whole. His silence now speaks of maturity, not resentment. His peace now radiates strength, not indifference. And this evolution, this emotional transformation, is exactly what makes her start missing him even more. Because she's not missing the old him, she's missing the new him, the man who doesn't need her anymore. When she finally realizes, time passes, she's dated others, tried to move on, but something always feels missing because no one else gives her that same energy, that same sense of calm, certainty, and grounding. One night, she's lying in bed, scrolling through her phone, and without thinking, she types your name in the search bar. She sees your progress, your smile, your peace, and suddenly, she remembers the moments she ruined with pride. That's when it hits her. She didn't lose a man who needed her. She lost a man who chose her. And now he's choosing himself. The final lesson. So what does psychology really teach us here? That absence reveals truth. That silence exposes value. That when a man detaches with peace, not anger, the world shifts around him. A woman doesn't start missing you when you leave. She starts missing you when she realizes she can no longer reach you. Your energy is no longer available. Your focus is no longer hers. Your validation, gone. And that's when she truly sees your worth. Gentlemen, remember this. Respect is not demanded, it's inspired. Love is not proven, it's earned. And peace is the loudest message you'll ever send. Because when you master emotional discipline, you stop chasing what's not for you and start attracting what aligns with your peace. Someday she'll tell her friends about you, not as the man who begged for her attention, but as the man who showed her what real love felt like before walking away. And that story will stay with her forever, because deep down, she'll know. You weren't trying to teach her a lesson, you were just living yours. So don't wish her pain, don't wish her regret, wish her clarity, because her realization that you were the man she could have built a kingdom with is something no punishment could ever match. You didn't lose her, you outgrew her. And that's what true evolution looks like. Music swells, ambient cinematic rise. This has been Echoes of Stoicism. If this message spoke to your soul, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, because your journey doesn't end here. It begins every time you choose peace over reaction. Until next time, stay grounded, stay disciplined, stay stoic. When you ignore her, this is what she'll do. It's shocking. She'll miss you when you're no longer available. Echoes of Stoicism, where discipline meets emotional power.